folks, and welcome to today's vlog. Specifically, welcome to a Q&A. If you don't like Q&As, I strongly recommend you just come back tomorrow. But there is going to be some good questions answered. As usual, we put the Q&A request up on the channel community page, asked people to give a thumbs up to the questions they most wanted to see answered, and we have got some awesome questions that are going to be coming up in just a minute or two's time. But just an explanation why we're doing a Q&A today. Firstly, a lot of people do like them, so we do try to do probably one or two a month, just because we get a lot of recurring questions, so it's important to have that little bit of a chat. Now I don't really do very much live streaming stuff. It's a nice little way to keep interacting with you all, but also it's just been a nightmare day. I'm actually recording this on Friday morning rather than on Thursday night like I normally would when I do a Q&A, because Thursday was just a write-off. Firstly, it was the last day before Anna's exam. She's actually sitting her exam right now, her uni exam. While I'm recording this, I'm going to be picking her up in about an hour or so. So yesterday for Anna was a revision day, so Anna was completely off limits. Andy was fine, but very much keeping himself to himself. And I was fighting with the council about our bin, because it was bin collection day yesterday. It's such a mundane story, but also so weird. It was bin collection day for us yesterday, and our bin got collected, and then we had no bin. And we looked on the council website and it just said there was a problem with your bin collection, and the note that had been put on there was bin went into truck. And apparently, from the conversation with the council that I had, the general gist of what's happened is they've put the wheelie bin up on the back of the truck and it's slipped off, and the bin itself has fallen into the truck, and they've got no way to get it out. Then health and safety means they obviously can't go in there and get the bin back out again. So we have no bin. Obviously, because it's their fault, they're sending us another one, but they can't send it immediately. They said all we can do is promise it'll be with you before your next delivery in 2 weeks' time. Well, our next delivery in 2 weeks' time is when we're on holiday, so potentially, and this is rubbish, it's not recycling, so we get our rubbish collected every 2 weeks, and then in the 2 weeks between them it's recycling. But at the moment we don't have anywhere to put rubbish at all, because we don't have a bin. If it doesn't come till, say, the Monday or Tuesday of the week we're away, we're not going to have the chance to transfer the rubbish that we're already starting to accumulate into the new bin, so there might not be a collection then either. So we could potentially be going a month without bin collection, which is obviously far from ideal. So I had a bit of a back and forth with the council about that all day. It's not resolved. The general gist was we just have to take it to the tip. Goody, just before I get to drive all the way to Paris and back again, and I'm probably going to do 2,000 miles of driving over the course of that week with Comic-Con and stuff as well. I get to fill it with dirty food and stuff and make it really stink just before, so yay, that's going to be nice. But that's why we didn't do anything yesterday. We just decided to have a day off from the camera, so I'm recording our Q&A this morning, and let's jump into some questions. So as ever, these are the ones that were most voted for. If you don't get your question asked this time, just keep an eye on the community page. Make sure you subscribe, notifications on, all that kind of thing, so you know when we post up on the community page. That's where we post and ask for questions. There'll probably be another one within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Just make sure you get in quick and ask a good question, and hopefully people will thumbs up yours and it'll get answered. So, first question. Joshua Ruddy says, how would we deal with Andy if he broke something valuable in a breakdown? The same way as if he didn't break anything, really. As far as I'm concerned, what happens in a meltdown isn't Andy's fault. If something gets broken, then something gets broken. His most recent meltdown, he threw the little laptop table across the room. It missed the TV by like that much. If it had gone through the TV, the reaction to the meltdown wouldn't be any different from it missing the TV. It's all about helping him get through the meltdown and then dealing with the fallout afterwards. We're not going to punish him for what happens in a meltdown, because it's out of his control. It's outside factors that are causing that overwhelming situation that he can't handle, he can't do anything about. If something gets accidentally broken, then we either do without it or we replace it, we claim on the insurance, whatever it might be. But I don't know, I feel like that question is kind of asking how we'd punish him, and we wouldn't. Harry asks, how does Andy deal with being sick and ill? He generally just goes to bed and sleeps if he's sick, and worryingly doesn't eat or drink either. We have to kind of force him to have a red pop. We get him a red pop when he's poorly, because the sugar in it and the caffeine in it tends to make him feel a little bit better. But Andy can't fake being ill. I don't know that he's ever tried, but he can't, because when he's ill, all he'll do is be in bed. And as soon as he starts to feel better, he'll get out of bed and just go about his normal day again. So it's pretty easy to tell when he's ill, and he copes with it just by sleeping. Beast Ari says, what rides are Amy and Lucy looking forward to most at Disney? I don't know that either of them could name a ride at Disney. I think I could probably name 2 or 3 just from the research that I've been doing. But I think as a family, we're not really going for the rides. We're going for the experience. I won't go on any roller coasters in any park ever again. I just don't like them, and I'm not really supposed to because of my blood pressure. So even the ones I've been on in the last few years, I shouldn't have been. So it's not really about the rides for us. I think we're most excited about being able to go around all the shops and be able to see the nice Disney castle and seeing the cast members wandering around and just experiencing the magic of being at Disney. The fact that there's some rides that we can go on while we're there as well is a bonus, but we could, for the 4 of us, taking Andy out of the equation, for the 4 of us, it wouldn't really matter if there was rides closed. That's probably not strictly true. I'm a little bit disappointed that the Toy Story Buzz Lightyear ride's going to be closed while we're there, because I like the shooting ride that they have at Alton Towers that I can't remember the name of, so I was really looking forward to that one. Andy's disappointed that the train ride there isn't going to be open, although there are other things that are train-like or have trains involved. But I think for the girls, they'll go on any rides that they like the look of while they're there, but when we go to Alton Towers or Thorpe Park, we're not going because we want to ride this, that and the other roller coaster. We just like to have a day out at a theme park. It's a fun day. Jessica asks, are me and Anna ever going to get married? I suggest a nerdy fancy dress theme. You can be Mario and Anna should be Princess Peach. We might do one day. In all honesty, it's not particularly high on the priority list. We've been engaged for 6.5 years. We got engaged in October 2012. So yeah, closing in on 7 years we've been engaged. We haven't set a date. We're in the kind of situation where there's always been something more important, something we'd rather spend the money on. Getting married is really expensive. Weddings cost an absolute fortune. We could have got married this year, but then we couldn't have gone to Disney. We had a little bit of money. We chose to spend it on going to Disney rather than on a wedding. Obviously, when Andy was refusing school, then that was a higher priority. While Anna's at uni, that's a higher priority. While I'm trying to establish this business, that's a higher priority. And I think if this time next year we're sat there with wedding money, I think we'll probably go to Disney in Florida, or we'll go and have another holiday. I think we'd have to be so well off that we can afford to get married without having to sacrifice something else to do it. I think that's where it sits in our level of priorities. It's not the be all and end all. I would rather have nice holidays, have, no money worries, pay off my credit card. There's so many things I would rather do than that. And I think Anna feels the same. Obviously, it'll happen one day, I imagine, but it's not urgent. For neither of us really see it as making much of a difference. It's just a piece of paper. At the end, it's a piece of paper and a party. It won't change anything at all about our relationship, about our day-to-day lives. Whereas the Disney holiday, that's huge. That's something we've always wanted to do, and that is going to have a massively positive impact on all 5 of us. Whereas getting married will be a fun day and a nice party, but then the next day it's just exactly the same as the day before. Whereas I don't think it'll be like that with Disney. I think for a start, it lasts a week, and I think we'll be talking about it forever. So if you're bored of hearing about it already, I'm very sorry. LUFC Vlogger says, what would we do if Andy had a meltdown in France or at Disney? We'd just handle it the same way as we handled the one at Legoland last year. Just try and calm him down, help him get through it. If he has to go back to the room, he has to go back to the room. We have our contingency plan for if things go wrong at Disney. We've talked about it before, where we'll just split off into 2 teams, and there'll be Team Andy and Team Lucy and Amy, and we will make sure that me and Anna rotate between the 2 teams. And if Andy just gets there and hates it and doesn't want to leave the hotel and just wants to sit in the hotel room for 4 days, if that's what he wants to do and he can't cope with doing anything over and above that, then that's what he'll be allowed to do. One of me and Anna will be with him at all times, and we'll just rotate in over the course of each day so that me and Anna both get decent time in the parks. The girls get to do everything they want to do in the parks, and we'll make sure that everybody has the best version of this holiday for them, including, if Andy has a meltdown, making sure that he is able to cope with it as best he can and it doesn't ruin the day for the girls on the flip side of it. Overhillmaster asks, does Andy enjoy reading books? I've never seen him just sort of sit down in the living room reading a novel. That's not something he's ever shown any interest in doing, but books are a part of his nighttime routine. So he has 3 or 4 different books that he kind of rotates through with Anna, that for a lot of them, like we're going on a bear hunt, he'll have 2 or 3 copies of that. So Anna will have a copy that she's reading from, and Andy will also have a copy where he's following along and reading along with her. So he enjoys the routine of doing that. But like I say, I've never seen him just sit down and read a book by himself. Tig asks, what are our plans for the summer holidays? Do we have to keep Andy busy, or does he just treat it like a normal few weeks off? A little of both. He is fine if it's a week. Maybe towards the end of the Easter holidays, he was getting a little bit bored, I think. He is fine doing his own thing for a week or so. So our plan for the summer holidays is to never let him go more than a week or so without something. So always have things on his date board that he can look forward to. So we're kicking the summer holidays off with a trip to Newcastle. We're in Newcastle for, is it 3 or 4 days? I forget how long we're going for, but that's around Andy's birthday. We're going to be going off to Newcastle. And towards the end of the holidays, we're going to Blackpool. We went to Blackpool last summer. We're going back there this summer. Both of those trips are paid for by awesome, fantastic subscribers who sent us Premier Inn vouchers. And so thank you to you guys who sent those in. But we're going to Newcastle. We're going to Blackpool, and we'll then sprinkle in other trips and days out within that. So there will no doubt be a trip or 2 to the seaside if the weather is nice, Skegness, Hunstanton, places like that. There might be theme park trips in there, depending on finances. We had planned to get Merlin passes again this year until we decided to go to Disney instead. I think it's probably going to be outside of our funding potential to get the Merlin passes in time for the summer. It'll probably be next year now if we decide to get those, but we might have a trip to Legoland. We might head to Alton Towers. If we decide to do 2 or 3 of those things, we'll probably just get the passes, and then that will lead to a trip to London as well. So there's always stuff going on. We take him out and about places locally to go and see churches. He wants to go back to Adventureland in Spalding, which is just down the road from us, because we went there in February. Didn't even know it was there, just kind of turned up, had a look, and he loved it, and he wants to go back there. So there's lots of stuff that we'll do with him, and it's just about spreading it out so he never has to go more than like 4 or 5 days without something to do, but at the same time we don't overwhelm him with stuff all the time, because that trip to Newcastle, that'll wipe him out. He'll need 4 or 5 days of just being allowed to do his own thing to recharge himself, to be able to then go again and do something else. So it's about kind of making sure there's enough to do but not too much to do to stop him getting bored. And he does struggle with drifting out of the routine, but there's not a lot we can do about it. His school don't offer summer schools, so there's no way to keep him in we keep him in routine as best we can, but it's obviously not the same as the really structured school routine that he has. Elijah asks, do we think Andy's food issues are because of sensory issues or more to do with routine? I think it's absolutely a sensory thing. There are certain tastes and textures that he just doesn't like. He will gag at the sight of a bag of Haribo, because the thought of putting Haribo in his mouth just makes him gag. He can't bear the thought of a Haribo sweet, but he'll chew on the rubbery wheels off of one of his toy buses, which to me they're very similar, but obviously there are significant sensory differences to them. So there are certain categories that he just won't touch because of sensory issues. He doesn't particularly enjoy hot food for the same reasons, presumably, but once he finds a food that he likes, I think it does then become a routine thing, and that's why he kind of drifts in and out of certain foods that he eats in certain places at certain times. So he used to like cheese and onion crisps, and then switched to salt and vinegar, decided he preferred them, and now won't touch cheese and onion. Now that, I don't think that can be sensory. He can't be disgusted by cheese and onion, surely, because he used to eat them all the time. But now he prefers salt and vinegar. His routine is he eats salt and vinegar crisps. So if they're not the right crisps, well, this is different. I'll just have the one that fits the routine. That's why he eats cereal at school, and why he eats jam on his toast when he goes to respite but doesn't have jam when he's at home, because he has certain routines for certain places. So it's kind of a mixture of the two, and it's kind of a moving thing, and it's quite hard to keep on top of. He used to drink a lot of milk. Now he gags when he has milk, and it's an ever-moving thing, but I think it's rooted in sensory issues, which then he builds routines off the back of. A Flexible Gamer asks, has Andy ever been involved in school fights or fights in general? No. Matthew asks, is Andy fully toilet trained? Yes. Debbie asks, if you could take Andy on holiday to anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? Disneyland Paris. It is the dream holiday for him. He's been asking to go to Disney for years, and Disneyland Paris is the best one for us at the moment because it's nearby. We can drive there, so there's the familiarity of being able to go all the way there in our car. It doesn't involve flying, it doesn't involve like hours and hours and hours of travel. It doesn't involve, I was going to say it doesn't involve going to a different country. It does, it's in France. But it's the holiday he's always asked for, but in a way that keeps us as close to his comfort zone as possible. If he absolutely adores that, then the next step will be Florida or California. Let's take him to one of the other Disney parks. But at the moment, the dream was get him and the girls to Disney, and the easiest way to do that was France. So that became the perfect location, and we're getting to do it this year, and that's why we're so excited about it. I know it might feel like we're going on about it a lot. I get it, you're going to Disney, but it's not just a Disney trip to us, it's not just a holiday to us, it is the culmination of years, in some cases lifetimes, of dreaming and, you know, it being a dream that you have but you kind of assume will never happen, and then all of a sudden you have the opportunity to do it, and it's brilliant. ML asks, has Anna ever played Football Manager? No. Kerry asks, does Andy notice any different taste in his special toast, and did he sleep in the morning? He didn't eat it all on the last vlog. I think he does it he certainly noticed when I did it, because I obviously didn't break it down or mix it up as well as Anna does. When Anna gives it to him, I don't think he notices at all, or if he does, he doesn't mind the difference. That morning he got up earlier than usual, not like super early, because he probably still had about half of it. He was probably up maybe 5 a.m. ish. He was certainly up before us, but not significantly. But he is back into having the medicine and being woken up again today, so we need to make sure Anna keeps giving it to him. Sarah asks a question that actually came up in the meeting we had at his school yesterday. Would you ever let Andy make his own toast supervised to get a little independence, or have you already tried it? And they actually asked us that at the meeting with school, and we said at the moment we're terrified of that, because he has the tendencies to get up in the night and go and do his own thing and get his own food sorted. We would love him to have the independence to go and make himself some toast, butter it himself. It would be great. It would save us a huge amount of time as well, because we wouldn't have to keep going back and forth and doing it. It would be brilliant. But at the same time, a toaster is a dangerous thing, and the thought of him getting up at 4 a.m, coming downstairs and using the toaster, and then the toast gets stuck and he's sticking his hand in there trying to pull the toast out, and he needs a knife to butter the bread, and just, I think he probably could do parts of it independently at the moment, but we are afraid. So we'll get over our own fear eventually, and he will start doing it eventually, but at the moment, for us, it's enough of a big deal that he's eating it and he's sleeping better. We'll take that as a victory for now, and then gee ourselves up ready for the next stage, and get over the fact that we're going to be afraid of it, because we will be. How many crisps are we taking to Disney? So Disney, we are actually in France from Tuesday morning to Friday evening. So I think we will take 3 multi-pack 6 bags per day. So what's that, 4 days times 3. So we're going to take 12 multi-bags. So 12 times 6 is what, 72 bags of crisps? 72 bags of crisps will cross the border into France with us. Once we're back in the UK, we can buy some at the local supermarket in Folkestone, and the night before, I mean, we're not leaving until the Monday afternoon. We're heading down to the Premier Inn down there, and we'll probably have, we'll perhaps have another 6-pack to take with us that night, but mainly he'll just have probably a couple of bread rolls at McDonald's and some toast in the hotel, hopefully, that night, and then he'll get started on the crisps the following day. But yeah, I think 72 bags of crisps should be plenty, because obviously he'll be having the bread as well. There's a McDonald's there, so he can have his burger buns. Often when we go to places, he doesn't eat a lot of crisps until we're back, so I think the majority of those crisps are going to be eaten in the hotel room. So I don't think we're going to be carrying like 10 or 12 bags of crisps around Disney with us all day. We'll have a couple in there, but generally if he's not eating them on a plate, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like eating them out of the bag, ever since the bags changed like 3 years ago. So if he's not sat at a table with a plate, he doesn't tend to eat them anyway. So during the days in the parks, it'll probably be bread rolls and quite limited food in general, and then he'll absolutely gorge when he gets back to the hotel. I know it's not ideal, but it is how he tends to do theme parks, and we do have the advantage of the fact we are staying in a Disney hotel. It's about 15 minutes away from the parks, so if necessary, if he gets super hungry at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we could always head back to the hotel. He can gorge himself on 8 bags of crisps, and then we can head back again. So there's plenty of ideas. But yeah, in answer to the question, 72. Very specific. And last question is from Tom Walker. Do we enjoy meeting subscribers? Is it strange or not really? I love it. I think it's brilliant. Anna gets so embarrassed about it. She feels that, I don't know if uncomfortable is the right word, but she just gets embarrassed because she doesn't expect it. For me, I absolutely love it. It used to feel strange. It doesn't feel strange as much now because it does happen quite a lot, even in places where you wouldn't expect it now, like wandering around just near home. People will sometimes, I'll be walking into Tesco and someone will shout, "That's the YouTuber!" And then they'll come over, say hello, that kind of thing. So for me, it's kind of a normal part of day-to-day life now, and I really enjoy it. I think it's awesome. If you ever see me in public, stop me, say hello. I love it. For Anna, Anna is still getting used to it. I actually got a text from her this morning saying, like half an hour before her exam, she was stopped for a selfie around the uni. So someone saw her and she had a selfie with them, and she said she was like laughing about it. It's mad. I don't think that's the first time she's ever been stopped without me there, and she just said, "I felt so embarrassed. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do." And yeah, the first couple of times it's mad, but you do get used to it, and it is awesome. It's great to be able to put faces to names, and it makes it all the more real. It's all well and good talking into a camera in my garage and having internet accounts comment on that stuff. That's great, but actually knowing that there's real people out there that enjoy what you do enough to say hello to you and stuff in the street is it's really cool. So yeah, I love it. But that is that for this Q&A. Like I say, if you didn't get your question asked in this one, make sure you ask again next time, and you might just be able to get it squeezed in. But for now, I need to wrap things up here because it is currently 11:20 on Friday morning. I now need to get these edited and uploaded in time to go and pick Anna up after her exam, and then we're taking Andy to respite later today. So busy day ahead that you'll see on tomorrow's vlog. So I really need to crack on with the editing of this video. So if you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for more daily vlogs. And thank you very much for watching.